So, hello. So, I've been thinking about this for a while. I have not been. I kind of have wanted to do it, but then I am also dreading it. Just because there are some books that I have heard things of, that I am not so sure of. But, I have read two. Two? I think I only have read two. And at least one of them I really liked. Now I don't remember much from the other one. So, yeah. Let's just, yeah. If you haven't seen the title, which I am wondering how you clicked on this video without, we are reading Colleen Hoover books. And that is in chronologically the order that she published them, released them. So, I mean, she has published 26 books. So we are not talking about 26 books this one, but just because I feel like sometimes I need more time to read. Maybe I will have to, give more updates on some books, and sometimes it's just enough with just one long review. So I have decided we are going to do 5 and 5. So there will be some parts in this, but we are going to start with 5. See how we will. I mean, we are starting with her newest, her oldest work, working towards the newest. So let's just say I have also been putting this off just because I feel like as I have been growing older, I have become a little bit more harsh in my ratings and with what I like and not. So I just feel like it's better to do it now. And yeah, so will this take long? I don't really know. If my TBR really is okay with it, I will try and get to multiple ones in a month. So the first 5 that we are going to read for this vlog is Slammed, which is the first in the Slammed series. We have Point of Retreat, which is the second book in that series. Number 3 is Hopeless, which is in a new series. Then we have This Girl, which is the last one in the Slammed series. And then we have Losing Hope, which is the second one in the Hopeless series. So, I don't really know what any one of these are about. So, let's just face it, I will probably try and get these unscripted or Storytel or something where I can listen to them and not buy them or read them like as an ebook on that, just so I don't feel like buying them. To be honest, I don't want to do that. I don't buy books that I don't know if I will like or not. What this book is about, Slammed. This will be the first book we are reading for this challenge. So let's just see. I'm gonna read from GoodReads, see what this is all about. Following the unexpected death of her father, 18-year-old Laken is forced to be the rock for both her mother and younger brother. Outwardly, she appears resilient and tenacious, but inwardly, she's losing hope. Enter Will Cooper, the attractive 21-year-old new neighbor with an intriguing passion for slam poetry and a unique sense of humor. Within days of their introduction, Will and Laken form an intense emotional connection, leaving Laken with a renewed sense of hope. Not long after an intense, heart-stopping first date, they are slammed to the core when a shocking revelation forces their new relationship to a sudden halt. Daily interactions become impossibly painful as they struggle to find the balance between the feelings that pull them together and the secrets that keep them apart. Is this the teacher-student one? I don't really know, to be honest. I guess we'll have to find out. So I will get back once I have read most likely 50%. or more. Okay, so I have just finished the first Colleen Hoover book for this part of the vlog, and that is Slammed. And basically, Slammed is about Laken and Will, and basically, Laken moves from Texas to, is it Michigan? And basically there she meets a 21-year-old Will, and basically they go on one date and they kind of fall in love. And then Laken starts her last year of school, like high school, and she figures out that Will is her teacher, and so things goes from there. Now, for me, I find student teacher very difficult to rate, because in Norway, basically, I mean, the age of consent is 16, and you don't have a particular rule like that it's illegal to date your student. However, it says that, I mean, you shouldn't date your student after you have, started school. However, if you date your student before school, you should basically notice the school so they can basically maybe have you in another class, so that people don't say that you favor them because you are together with them. So that is kind of the rule in Norway. However, in the States is, at least as far as I can tell, is illegal. And that is kind of a reason why I find student teacher to be really difficult to rate. And also, Laken is 18. Basically, in the States, she is at the age of consent. She is legal. However, it's illegal to date a teacher. However, they didn't know, and I just find it really difficult to rate this book. I know a lot of people hate this because it's a student-teacher romance. I'm gonna give it 3 stars, I think, because, I mean, I'm not from the States. However, I don't think, I wouldn't totally, say, hey, I love this. Because Laken, she is immature. She is only 18, and basically for her there are things that happens that makes her really immature, and kind of can't, also feel like she can't see the other perspective. She only sees herself and her feelings. She doesn't see her mother's feelings. She doesn't see Will's struggle, because obviously Will really likes her. However, he takes care of his little brother and he can't afford to lose his job. If you like student teacher, I think that you probably will like this enough. It is a YA, young adult, new adult book, and it's Colleen Hoover's debut, so it's not like the best. I know a lot of people don't like it because of the student teacher. I can't say anything about that since I'm not from the States. I'm not gonna go into that. I find it strange that you would date your teacher. However, if you don't know in the beginning, you don't know. But that's because I'm from Norway. I can't, I never had that problem in my life either, so I didn't totally love the characters. However, they are really flawed, and I feel like that is typical people, we are flawed. And I just need, both Will and Laken is like a big sister or brother to a 9-10-ish year old boys. Basically, they're typical boys. They don't fully understand what is going on. Especially Laken's younger brother. He's like the typical kid. And it was really quick to read. I read this in 3 hours. So it didn't take that long. And I just, 3 stars overall. Liked it, and see some good thoughts. Someone says that the characters are infuriating. Yes, they are. But I just think they are young, and I find young people to make stupid decisions, and they try to fix it, but it doesn't go the way they work. And I'm like, yeah, young people are infuriating at times. Someone wishes more romance, and I'm like, I do understand why you want more romance. However, I also have to say that it is student teacher. Will only wants to take care of his brother, so he kind of pushes Laken away, and like, I can't have anything. I can't be with you while you are my student. And I'm like, that is the correct thing to do. However, he's young, and he's, your feelings are just so up there that you kind of you are like having trouble with like saying, stop, I can't do this at all. You are having trouble with that. So I just feel like I was interested enough that I didn't want to put this book down. So for me, that's not a problem. So I think we're gonna settle at the 3 stars. It's not more than that, but I just feel like it was interesting enough for me. The next one that we are going to read is Point of Retreat. This is the second part in this trilogy. So we are now going to see what happened afterwards. So want to say that there might be some slight spoilers since I am reading like series. So this is the second book in this series, meaning we will talk about the second book in this series. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then I'm sorry, but maybe just skip over this part. So I have just finished Point of Retreat, and this is basically the second book in the Slammed trilogy. This is a continuation of Slammed. So there will be some spoilers in this, as I am talking basically about the second book. So if you want to read this book, maybe not listen to this part, because spoilers. Basically in this one we are following Will. Basically we are not following Laken like perspective this book. We are following Will. I mean, you kind of know what Laken is feeling. However, I also kind of am missing Laken's part, just because you don't know everything that she's feeling. You just know what Will thinks she's feeling. So there's kind of one thing I do miss about this book. It was fine. So basically, this is a continuation. We are not following Slammed from Will's perspective. This is a continuation, so this is set like, I don't know how long after. So basically, they are both, they are like 19 and 23, I think, or 22, something in those lines. Yeah. And basically, they are both trying to continue on going to school, and then also, taking care of each brother. So, basically, one thing that it really, really annoyed me was the miscommunication in this. There was so much miscommunication, and there are sometimes I don't care too much, because I used to say that miscommunication happens in usually like every relationship. You will at one time or another have some miscommunication. However, it is how you deal with it afterwards that I really care about. Like, if you miscommunicate, then that is fine. However, how do you deal with it afterwards? How do you fix that? And I just felt like, they acted as children, basically, in this part. There were like, for being 19 and like 22, 23, they were really childish. And there were a lot of things that they act on and do that is really childish. And one thing that also really bothered me was that in Will's class, basically his ex starts. And he decides to not tell Laken about this. He just, when she asks him how did school go, he was like, fine. And I'm like, wouldn't it be better to say that it was fine? However, my ex is in one of my classes. And then you can actually have a talk about it. Because once Laken finds out, she gets really angry and sad and feels really betrayed because basically the ex comes to his house to talk. I am just like, he has had like 2 weeks to tell her. And I feel like if he actually had said to her the first day that my ex is in my class, then, and actually talked to Laken about it, because Will gets a note from his ex saying that, hey, I want to talk to you. And I just feel like Will definitely should have kept Laken in the loop. But then again, none of this book would have happened, because most likely they could have sit down and actually have a conversation about this, because Laken is obviously, a lot of things have been changing in her life, Her mother is dead, her father is dead, she's all alone with her brother, and basically she's only 19, so she's really young, and she's struggling when like big changes happen. And then when she basically sees Will hugging his ex, because he really tells her off and say that you can't be here and I love Laken. And the ex gets sad, and then Will is like, I was a totally douchebag, and tries to calm her down. Laken sees him hugging her. And I just feel like things like that wouldn't have happened if he had just said in the beginning, hey, my ex is in my class, and actually kept her in the loop, saying, hey, I got a note from my ex today saying that she wants to talk. And basically keep Laken in the loop, like, hey, she wants to talk, like, I don't know what she wants to say, but I'm just going to hear her out. And then, maybe Laken wouldn't have been so kind of feeling like betrayed, because obviously Will says, hey, I love you, and then kind of she needed some time to think. And I do understand that she's so young that she just needs some time to actually get her thoughts straight. And then he basically, after I don't know how long, he decides to disable her car battery. So she needs to get a ride from him. And I get annoyed by that. And I feel like one of the people who actually puts Will like in his right mind is basically his grandmother, because she says that you need to show her that you love her. You can't just say it to her, you actually need to show it. Because Will thinks that the grandmother don't like Laken. However, the grandmother is like, it's more you, that I just feel like you give her so many mixed things, and you're just telling her you love her, not showing her in the right way. Because the grandmother actually likes Laken, however, it has been Will actions that she doesn't like. And I like the grandmother because she's not on Will's side when things kind of go downhill, because she's like, you need to fix this. If you like Laken, you will show her that you like her. So, with all of this, this book ended up as 2 stars, just because I felt like the miscommunication is just like down the drain for me if it's not done right. And I just feel like this was so many miscommunications that if they had just communicated very differently, basically, it would have gone really differently. So 2 stars. And there was just like some things that I didn't like. I mean, the reason why this is not a 1 star is because I wanted to continue on listening, but I just didn't fully love this because of a few things that happened in this book that I was just like, this is not my favorite thing. So yeah, the next book we are going to read is Hopeless, and I don't know anything about this book, so I will get back once I have actually gotten to it. Okay, so I just finished Hopeless, and let's talk about it. I finished it yesterday though, but yeah. So I have just written down a lot of things as I kind of have been thinking about them, and let's just go through my thoughts. So basically, Hopeless is about this girl called Sky. She meets this new guy called Holder, and basically it's their love story. Okay, so I'm back. My mother came home, so yeah, that is basically the short synopsis. Like, yeah. So yeah, let's just talk about what I have been writing. So the first thing is, he searched up where she lives. That is creepy. He went straight home to stalk her. So basically, she meets Holder, and basically he searched up where she was living, and he basically tried to, yeah, basically stalked her online. Now, I have to say, later on in the book, we figure out kind of why he does that. I still find it creepy. I'm just gonna say it. It's still creepy, even if he had a reason for it. I also said I hate men who has so many different moods, because he has so many different ones. He goes from one side to another to another. It's just keep on coming with all these different moods, and some of the moods that he has I hate. So yeah. And then I said, so she doesn't question why they don't have a phone or internet or something just when she got there. So when she got there, she was 5, she basically asked that question. I mean, after that, she never questioned it. And I'm like, you are almost 18. And basically, once Sky gets a phone and her mother basically finds it, she gets so angry. And I would have questioned, like, why? But that is me. I would have questioned it just because it's not something that you would have to have. I just would have questioned, like, why don't we have it? Is there a special, like, reason we don't have it? You kind of get to know why later on in the book as well. So there will be spoilers. I'm just gonna put a spoiler warning in the beginning just because I just need to talk about them. So he sneaked into her room from her bedroom window, and I was just like, Edward Cullen, is that you? Because I just find it really creepy when people are like sneaking into your bedroom, like your bedroom from your window. And I said, Holder is so moody and angry, and I would be afraid when he gets like that. Yes, because he just gets in this, let's call it rages. Like, he gets so angry that it's just scary. And then I also said, so have anyone heard of telling the truth, not lying for 2 whole months, thinking that everything will be okay afterwards? So basically what we get to know now is that Holder is looking for a girl called Hope, who he basically knew from his first years living, first 5 years. And she disappeared. And basically he was lying to Sky about this. He basically knows that Sky is Hope, and he just doesn't tell her for 2 whole months, and then basically he's thinking that everything will be fine after we tell her. I just think that we should be honest. And then I said, and why is it okay to hit people? Even if you're hurting, that doesn't give you permission to hit people. So basically she gets really angry and she hits him multiple times. And yes, I do understand that she's angry, but that doesn't give you permission to hit someone. I don't find it okay to hit anyone. And even if you are angry, I don't think it's okay to hit anyone. Now we get to the really nitty-gritty of what this book is really about. So, I have written, so she was kidnapped 13 years ago by the person who she thinks is her mother, but she is really her aunt. We will get to know why the aunt took her. I have written, I understand why she did it, because Sky's father molested her as well, and she just wanted Sky to be safe. So I can understand why she did it, and we also get to know that the aunt actually went to like the child service. However, Sky told them that everything was fine because she was terrified of her dad. So I've written, her dad is an ass, the worst kind of man, and that is the reason she doesn't remember her childhood. Just because, like, say anything about this, because I have not experienced anything like this. However, she has just filtered out the bad stuff to protect you. And that is one thing the brain is really good at doing. Once you have experienced something that is really, really bad, your brain will just kind of close that drawer and you will never remember it if then you don't want to remember it. And that is why she doesn't remember kind of her childhood. She doesn't remember her father. She just remembers the thing that her aunt actually told her, because that truth is a much simpler truth. He can say he's sorry for the rest of his life, but it will never be enough. I have written down. And yeah, he's not sad for what he did. He's sad for that she remembers it and confronted him. And that is the truth, just because you can clearly see that it's not what he did, but that he was caught. That basically, that is the reason why he's sad. He says he's sorry, but it is just something that should never happen, no matter what. And he also molested Holder's sister Les, and we know that Les basically killed herself. And that is one thing that led up to that. And Holder, he gets really, really sad because of this, because he never knew. And I feel like that is one thing I feel like is really common with children when this happens. They are really afraid. Not just children, but overall, like people, they are afraid to talk about it because they are afraid of not being believed, or they are threatened to kind of not say anything. And he gets really, really sad. And then when the father has told everything, he shoots himself right in front of Sky and Holder. One thing that kind of bothers me is that they don't seem to be disturbed by this at all. And I'm like, how? I understand that you don't like the guy, but seeing someone shoot himself, I just think that you would be disturbed no matter what, even if you don't like the person. You would be disturbed to see someone shoot himself right in front of you. So I don't kind of understand how they are not disturbed. It's kind of never taken up again, that they just run off. And yeah. And then, alright, the ending was good. Sky moving forward, not wanting to punish her aunt because she knew that she only wanted what was best for her. So I kind of believe that. I mean, and then, however, it's weird that kind of no one had any sort of consequences. Like, no one had any consequences. Aunt is never being punished. Sky and Holder are never like questioned for father's death. Now, the police don't know that they have been there, but I just find it really weird that that is kind of the end. This is how it ends. Like, I just find it a little strange that it goes this way. So this one ended up at a 2 stars. I think that there were some good parts in here. However, there were like a lot of things that I just find really unbelievable. Like, this would never happen. Like, yeah, I just find it really, really strange. And yeah, 2 stars. It was fine, but I don't think that it was like the best thing I have read. let's get to the next one. I have not finished, I have not started this, but it is This Girl. And This Girl is Slammed number 3. This will be the last Slammed book, and from what I have read, this will basically be slammed from Will's perspective, so I don't know if I will love that, just getting slammed all over again, but we will just see how it is, and I will talk to you later about it. I've just finished This Girl, and this is basically slammed, told from Will's perspective, so I think I'm gonna give it like 2.5 stars. Just because I liked it. It's still slammed. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it as much as I liked slammed, even though, I mean, 3 stars is, like, this book was fine. I would not probably reread it, but it's a good book. 2.5 is like middle of the road. Like, didn't love it as much as slammed, but I still liked it more than Hopeless, to be honest. I don't know. There aren't like too much to say about this because it's kind of just slammed over again. And that is also like a reason why I didn't love it as much as slammed, just because you were told the same story, just from Will's perspective. And I have to say I like getting things from that perspective as well, but you know, it didn't change much of the story, you know, it's just the same. So I don't really know what to say about this. I just feel like there isn't much to, you know, tell other than from what I told in Slam. So I don't think there is much to say about this book. The thing was just the ending. You kind of know. You have an epilogue. This is, you know, the Slam series, the trilogy is done. I liked it, but it's not like a new favorite series. It's not like, I mean, before I wanted to own like all Colleen Hoover books, and I'm like, I am kind of really happy that I'm doing this experiment, just reading this. I might do it from, you know, for other authors as well, after I'm done with Colleen Hoover. So, like, do I, especially when I have read like a few books that I have liked, but I've also heard a lot of other things from other books, and yeah, before I wanted to own them all, and now I do know that I don't want to own Slammed, the Slammed trilogy or Hopeless. And obviously, if there are books from Colleen Hoover that I am really, really enjoying, I will own them. I already own 2 of them, so 2 of them I will reread. When I'm doing this experiment, I am becoming a harsher reviewer. Let's just say that. I just feel like before I really gave a lot of stars, like a lot of books like 4 or 5 stars, because I was like, I love everything, and now I'm like, didn't love this as much, and I am much more thinking of, do I actually enjoy this book? So there are things in books that I don't like, and then again, there's nothing that I have like that I like more. So obviously, student teacher is not my favorite thing, but the last one is Losing Hope, and for what I can tell, this is Holder's side of the story from Hopeless. So we are just going around and around with Hopeless and Slammed for this first part. I just finished Losing Hope, and this is basically like Hopeless told from Holder's perspective. So this one ended up at 2 stars as well. I don't know what to say about this, just because it's Hopeless from Holder's perspective. So we don't get much other details. We do get some more information. We kind of get a Holder, like before he met Sky, like why he did those things that he did. I mean, we already kind of knew why he did those things. So it's not like too much like more information that we got. However, we also know that Holder basically writes letters to his sister Les, which she basically committed suicide. So definitely trigger warning for that. Like, it doesn't he doesn't talk much about it. It doesn't, but it is mentioned it is mentioned how he finds her. So yeah, and then we basically also got to know that Les and their mother basically knew that Sky was alive. Not Sky, Hope, which is Sky. Basically, they knew she was alive because they met her a few years before Holder actually met Sky. So they basically knew, but they decided not to tell Holder. And I don't know how I feel about it. I can kind of understand why they did it, just so he don't go looking for her. But he was already looking, you know, like looking at every single girl he met that was that age and like, could this be her? And I just think that for Holder, it might have been better for him if he knew that, yes, Hope is alive, but we shouldn't go looking for her, and just have a reason for it, just so he might have stopped looking. Like, I just felt like he might have been more at peace. And yeah, so it's not like too much that new that we learn. We just get like a few things where Hope and Holder aren't together. And that is kind of what we get. We don't get much more information, and I mean, I know that a lot of teenagers and grown-ups are like this, but I never like it. I mean, we have fights, and yeah, I know that people are doing fights and hitting and everything, but I don't think it's okay to do that in a book or in real life. So I don't like when people fight and, you know, hits people, and, you know, I can see the reasoning behind, but I still don't think it's okay to do. That was this part. We still have like a few, like 4 or 5 more parts to go to actually catch up on the books. So next one will definitely be a lot of the same. No, it's completely different. So next one will be, actually, it will be kind of a lot of different things. So I feel like this one was definitely like the one where we read Hopeless and Slammed, and only those 2 things, like finishing those kind of 2 series. Now, Hopeless has another like companion that will be next video for Colleen Hoover. And then we will have one that I am owning that I don't know how I will feel about that again, to be honest. And then we have, definitely some ones that I am really curious to see how I will actually feel about. So yeah, for this one, we have been reading like 2 and 3 star books. So I don't know how I still feel about Colleen Hoover. So far, I feel like her books are really like capturing. They're really short, so they are easy to, you know, get through. They're like around 10-ish hours every single one. So I feel like the books are really like easy. You can get through them in a day. Now, I listen to them at quite a speed because as long as I am able to, you know what is happening, it's not a problem for me. But yeah, I don't know if I will say that I love Colleen Hoover. So basically, I used to have all her books on, you know, wish lists. I don't have that anymore, just because I feel like I have to read them first and then see other and one of these that I want to own, and just see afterwards. So we are there, and we are not getting to the, let's call it, the most popular one yet. I feel like the most popular one is It Ends With Us. It Ends With Us. I feel like that is the most popular one. We're not getting to that one yet. But next time we will get to Ugly Love, which should be interesting because I feel like that is also a very popular one. But yeah, so far I wouldn't say that I love it. I don't love Colleen Hoover yet. I feel like the books are, they are easy to read and easy to get through, and they are dragging you in even if you kind of don't like the book. So that is kind of what I have had yet, like just now. And yeah, so I hope you liked this video, and I will see you next time for another video, and I will get to part 2 pretty soon. I don't know when, but pretty soon. So, bye!